The greatest transformation that can ever take place in your life begins not in your bank account, not in your job, not in your relationships, but in your mind. Everything God wants to do in you starts with how you think, the way you see yourself, the way you see the world, the way you see your purpose. It all flows from your mindset. A kingdom mindset is not just positive thinking. It is a complete reprogramming of how you interpret reality. It is shifting from a life centered on survival to a life centered on purpose. Most people live according to what they can see with their natural eyes. They are controlled by what they hear on the news, what they experience in the economy, what they feel in their emotions. But a kingdom mindset refuses to be limited by what is happening around you. It lives by what is eternal, unshackable, and unchanging. A kingdom thinker wakes up every day with one question: what does heaven say about this situation? They are not moved by fear because they are ruled by faith. They are not intimidated by circumstances because they know who they are and whose they are. To develop this kind of mindset, you must first accept that your thoughts are not yet fully aligned with the thoughts of God. Transformation begins with humility, admitting that you need to renew your mind daily. You cannot think like the culture and expect kingdom results. You cannot live by human logic and experience divine outcomes. You have to surrender your opinions, your prejudices, your limiting beliefs, and allow the Word of God to wash your mind until it becomes your default way of thinking. When you develop a kingdom mindset, you stop seeing yourself as a victim of life. You begin to understand that you are created with authority, with dominion, with responsibility. You start thinking like a ruler, not like a beggar. You no longer pray from a place of desperation. You pray from a place of alignment with the will of God. Your prayers shift from "God, do something," to "God, reveal what you are already doing so I can walk in it." A kingdom mindset makes you bold because you realize you are a citizen of a greater government. You are not waiting for the systems of this world to validate you. You are representing heaven on earth. This kind of mindset changes the way you handle challenges. When storms come, you don't panic like everyone else. You see opportunity where others see obstacles. You understand that difficulty is just the raw material for destiny. Kingdom thinkers don't run from problems. They run toward them because they know every problem is an invitation to manifest solutions. Every crisis is an opportunity to reveal the wisdom of God that lives inside of you. To build a kingdom mindset, you must constantly expose yourself to kingdom truth. Faith comes by hearing, and hearing again. The more you fill your mind with the Word of God, the less room there is for fear, doubt, and confusion. You cannot expect to think like heaven if all you feed your mind is the noise of earth. You must protect your mental environment. Be careful who you listen to, who you follow, and what you meditate on. A kingdom mindset is cultivated by focus, discipline, and intentionality. You must also surround yourself with people who think higher, speak life, and challenge you to grow. Your environment determines your mentality. If you spend your time with people who are full of complaints, fear, and unbelief, you will eventually think like them. But if you walk with those who live by faith, who speak with authority, who dream big, the mindset will rub off on you. Iron sharpens iron. So get around kingdom-minded people who remind you of who you are when you forget. Developing a kingdom mindset is not about escaping reality. It is about interpreting reality through the lens of heaven. It is about walking in peace when everyone else is anxious, walking in purpose when everyone else is confused, walking in generosity when everyone else is selfish. It is about becoming the proof that there is another way to live. A way that is full of joy, full of victory, full of meaning. The kingdom mindset turns ordinary people into world changers. It transforms how you use your time, your talent, your resources. You no longer live for survival, you live for significance. You wake up every day knowing that your life is part of a bigger story. You stop asking, what can I get? And start asking, what can I give? You see yourself as a channel of heaven's culture on earth. That mindset is contagious. It inspires others to rise above their limitations and believe that there is more to life than what they see. Developing a kingdom mindset requires patience because everything in the world is competing for your attention. You are bombarded with messages every single day that tell you who you are, what you should value, and what success looks like. The kingdom calls you to reject those definitions and embrace a higher standard. It is not about chasing status or applause. It is about alignment with your true assignment. The world tells you to measure your worth by how much you have, how much you own, and how much you can show off. But the kingdom teaches you that your value is rooted in who you were created to be, not in what you accumulate. When your mindset shifts, you stop trying to impress and you start trying to impact. This shift requires you to be intentional about what you meditate on. Your thoughts are seeds, and your life is the harvest of those seeds. If you constantly think small, you will live small. If you dwell on fear, fear will control you. But if you meditate on the promises of God, those promises begin to shape your perspective. You start thinking like a citizen of heaven. Unlimited, unstoppable, unshakable. You realize that your circumstances do not have the power to define you. You may have grown up in poverty, but you don't have to think like a poor person. You may have been rejected, but you don't have to think like a victim. The kingdom mindset takes you from survival to significance, from just existing to truly living. It also requires a shift from selfishness to stewardship. Most people are trained to think only about themselves, their needs, their goals, their dreams. But a kingdom thinker understands that everything they have is a trust. Your time, your money, your gifts, your influence, they are all tools given to you to advance a bigger agenda. When you wake up with this awareness, your life becomes purposeful. You no longer waste time on meaningless drama, petty arguments, or distractions that drain your energy. You focus on what matters. You invest in what produces eternal results. One of the greatest barriers to a kingdom mindset is fear of letting go. Many of us cling to old ways of thinking because they feel safe, even if they are keeping us small. A kingdom mindset will stretch you, challenge you, confront you. It will make you uncomfortable because it will call you to leave behind excuses, bitterness, and limited thinking. You cannot step into a higher dimension with a lower mentality. Every level of destiny requires a new level of thinking. This is why so many people stay stuck. They want a new season but refuse to get a new mindset. When you truly develop this mentality, you begin to look at challenges differently. What used to intimidate you becomes an invitation to grow. You no longer see giants as threats, but as opportunities to prove that greater is he that is in you. You stop running from storms because you realize that storms are the classrooms where faith is taught. The kingdom mindset gives you a divine stubbornness, a refusal to quit when life gets hard. It reminds you that you were built for this, that you have everything you need inside of you to overcome what is in front of you. It also changes the way you use words. A kingdom thinker speaks with authority because they know words have power. You stop saying, I can't, and start saying, I will. You stop cursing your future with negative talk and stop blessing it with declarations of faith. You align your mouth with your mission. You stop gossiping and complaining because you realize that every word is a seed that produces a harvest. The more you speak life, the more life you will see. A kingdom mindset is not built overnight. It is the result of constant renewal. Every single day, you must feed your mind with truth and starve it of lies. You must choose faith over fear again and again. You must remind yourself of who you are when life tries to make you forget. The enemy of your soul does not fear your talent, your looks, or your bank account. He fears your revelation. Because once you know who you are and start thinking like heaven, you become unstoppable. You stop settling for crumbs when you were created to sit at the table. To live with this kind of mindset is to live with a sense of mission. You are no longer wandering aimlessly through life. You are no longer just reacting to whatever happens. You are intentional about every decision, every connection, every step you take. You ask yourself, does this move me closer to my assignment or away from it? And if it distracts you, you let it go. You no longer have the luxury of wasting energy on what does not serve your purpose. This mindset will also change how you deal with people. You stop fighting flesh and blood and start recognizing the bigger picture. You don't waste time with revenge or bitterness because you understand that forgiveness is a weapon that keeps you free. You begin to see conflict as a training ground, betrayal as a lesson, and even enemies as tools that push you closer to destiny. Kingdom thinking makes you gracious because you see life from a higher altitude. Your finances are transformed as well. A kingdom thinker does not spend recklessly or hoard greedily. They invest wisely. They understand that money is a servant, not a master. They use resources to advance good, to empower others, to leave a legacy that outlives them. They are generous not because they are trying to impress God, but because they know generosity is the culture of heaven. When you think like the kingdom, you stop living with a scarcity mindset and start living with a multiplication mindset. Even the way you handle time changes. You no longer drift through days without purpose. You treat every moment as an opportunity to manifest your assignment. You wake up early with expectation, plan your steps with intention, and go to bed knowing you sowed into something that matters. You stop procrastinating because you understand that delay is costly. You realize that every wasted day is a wasted piece of destiny. The kingdom mindset teaches you to value process. Many people want instant results, but heaven does not operate on shortcuts. God develops greatness through process, through seasons, through waiting, through pruning. When you think like the kingdom, you stop rushing and start trusting. You understand that delay is not denial, but preparation. You allow the process to mature you, to deepen you, to prepare you for the weight of what is coming. And perhaps most importantly, a kingdom mindset fills you with unshakable hope. You may go through loss, pain, betrayal, or failure, but you never lose your sense of purpose. You never let life convince you that you are finished because you know that every ending is the beginning of something else. You walk with a quiet confidence that no matter what happens, all things are working together for good. The kingdom mindset is not just an idea you believe. It is a reality you live. It is supposed to govern how you think, how you speak, how you respond to every situation. The problem for many is that they keep trying to apply kingdom principles while still holding on to the mindset of the world. You cannot mix the two and expect to get results. If you still define success the way the world does, you will chase what everyone else chases and end up empty. The kingdom defines success not by how much you collect, but by how much you fulfill your purpose. True success is measured by obedience. Did you become everything you were created to be? Did you deliver what was placed in you before you were born? That is what matters in the end. A kingdom mindset will make you hungry for purpose like never before. You will not be satisfied with mediocrity because you will understand that mediocrity is an insult to the one who put greatness inside you. When you wake up every day knowing you carry destiny, you stop wasting time. You stop tolerating things that keep you average. You start making choices that match your assignment. You choose discipline over comfort, faith over fear, obedience over popularity. You are not here to fit in. You are here to stand out and to stand up for what is right. This mindset also changes how you see pain. Instead of asking, why me? You start asking, what is this teaching me? What is this preparing me for? The kingdom does not waste pain. Every struggle has a lesson. Every setback has a seed. Every disappointment is a doorway. A renewed mind sees pain as a tool, not as punishment. You begin to realize that some of the most difficult seasons of your life were the ones that shaped you the most. You stop resenting those seasons and start respecting them because they made you who you are today. You cannot have a kingdom mindset without vision. Vision is the ability to see beyond what is. It is the picture of a preferred future that keeps you focused when life gets hard. A person without vision will always be distracted because they have nothing to aim for. But when you have vision, it becomes the compass for your decisions. You filter opportunities through it. You know what to say yes to and what to say no to. You don't waste energy chasing every trend because you know exactly where you are going. And let's be clear, a kingdom mindset will set you apart. It will make you seem strange to people who are still thinking like the culture. You will have to be comfortable with being misunderstood. People may call you too intense, too focused, too radical. They may not understand why you are willing to wait for the right opportunity instead of rushing into the wrong one. They may not get why you walk away from certain deals, certain friendships, certain environments. But when your mind is renewed, you are no longer living to be liked. You are living to be aligned. This is where discipline comes in. A kingdom mindset is maintained by daily discipline. You cannot live by inspiration alone. Inspiration might get you started, but discipline keeps you going. Discipline to renew your mind daily, to feed on truth, to guard your heart, to monitor your words, to protect your focus. The greatest battles you will ever fight will be in your mind. That is where fear tries to take root. That is where doubt tries to live. That is where compromise is conceived. And that is why you must take responsibility for what you allow to stay there. Your imagination is one of the most powerful tools you have, but if you do not train it, it can work against you. The enemy loves to plant images of failure, fear, and defeat in your mind. He wants you to see yourself small, weak, unworthy. But the kingdom mindset refuses to meditate on those lies. It imagines victory, wholeness, abundance, and fulfillment. It sees yourself healed even while you are sick, free even while you are in chains, restored even while you are broken. Because the mind that is renewed refuses to agree with defeat. And understand this. This mindset is not just about personal breakthrough. It is about transformation that spreads. Once you think differently, you start to influence those around you. Your family sees the difference. Your workplace feels the difference. Your community is impacted. People will be drawn to the light in you, not because you are trying to be impressive, because you are being authentic. Kingdom thinkers don't just talk differently. They live differently. And that difference is magnetic. The mindset also produces gratitude. When your mind is renewed, you see blessings everywhere. You are no longer complaining about what you don't have because you are too busy thanking God for what you do have. Gratitude shifts your entire energy. It opens doors that complaining keeps shut. It attracts solutions instead of problems. It allows you to see opportunities that others overlook. A grateful mind is a creative mind, and creativity is part of the kingdom culture. As you grow in this mindset, you will notice that your faith becomes bolder. You stop praying small prayers because you stop seeing yourself as insignificant. You start asking for big things, not because you are greedy, but because you are representing a big kingdom. You expect breakthroughs. You expect favor. You expect doors to open. You expect to walk in authority. This is not arrogance, this is alignment with your identity. You were created to represent heaven on earth, and heaven is not broke, weak, or confused. The kingdom mindset will challenge how you define identity. You are not your past, your mistakes, your trauma, or your failures. You are who God says you are, and until you agree with Him, you will always live beneath your potential. Renewing your mind means refusing to let labels limit you. It means believing that you can rise, that you can overcome, that you can start again no matter where you are right now. This is not an easy journey because it requires you to confront lies have believed for years. It might require you to forgive people who hurt you deeply. It might require you to walk away from environments that are comfortable but toxic. It might require you to relearn who you are. But the freedom on the other side is worth it. Because once your mind is free, everything else in your life begins to follow. A kingdom mindset gives you confidence in seasons of uncertainty. When the world is in chaos, you are anchored. When economies shake, you are not afraid. When others panic, you remain calm. Not because you are naive, because you know you are part of a kingdom that cannot be shaken. You stop letting fear dictate your decisions and start letting faith guide your steps. You become a stabilizing presence for others because you refuse to be moved by what you see. This mindset also fuels resilience. You stop quitting every time it gets hard. You stop abandoning your dreams when obstacles arise. You push through because you understand that opposition is proof that you are on the right track. You learn to persevere. You learn to wait well. You learn to build quietly when no one is watching because you are no longer living for applause. You are living for impact. A kingdom mindset awakens a sense of legacy in you. You begin to think generationally. You stop making decisions just for today and start thinking about how they will affect tomorrow. You start planting seeds that you may never personally harvest because you are thinking beyond yourself. You become committed to leaving something behind that will outlive you. Wisdom, values, principles, systems. You start living with eternity in mind. If you want to change your life, you must first change your mind. Your future is not waiting on more money, more opportunities, or more connections. It is waiting on a renewed mindset. You cannot step into a new season with an old mentality. You cannot reign with a mind that still thinks like a slave. The kingdom is already within you. But until you think differently, you will never see it manifest through you. So today, make a decision, break free from the lies that have kept you small. Break free from the fear that has paralyzed you. Break free from the excuses that have robbed you of destiny. Feed your mind with truth until it becomes impossible to think defeat. Train your thoughts until faith is your natural response. Guard your focus like your future depends on it. Because it does. The world doesn't need more people just going through the motions. The world needs people with a kingdom mindset. People who refuse to bow to fear. People who see solutions where others see problems. People who wake up every day determined to bring light into darkness. You were not born to live an ordinary life. You were born to manifest heaven on earth. So rise up, think higher, live bolder. Refuse to shrink. The kingdom is counting on you to represent it well. And when your mind is renewed, nothing, no fear, no failure, no system, no situation will be able to stop you from becoming everything you were created to be.